Hi, I'm Deborah Alicia. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're returning, thanks for the love. Today's message is entitled, A Raisin in the Sun. People are familiar with this title by way of author Lorraine Hansberry. However, we want to bring your attention to the title in and of itself. What comes to your mind? Our thought is a dried grape, a grape in the sun. Raisin speaks more to the after effect. Pruning is taking place for harvest. And through harvest, our yield is quantified. It is expressed. In the sun speaks to being without the element necessary for growth. As the saying goes, God waters because we can put forth the action, but if the Most High doesn't provide the increase by way of its involvement in our action, it's as if we didn't do anything at all. This is Cain's plight. That is not having the Most High's involvement for the increase. No matter what he does, a vast amount of energy is required because what brings the increase is absent. He knew this, being moved to acknowledge the grievance that accompanies a reversal of life. He had reaped by way of his murderous action. Genesis 4:12. When you cultivate the ground, it will no longer yield its strength to you. You will be a vagrant and a wanderer on the earth. This was the reason for getting others to labor for wages. Not because one wants to go out and just bask in the sun as to relax, but because they had no choice in the matter. This is the drive behind GMO food. It is an alternative to their curse. It is an attempt to collectively counter their inability to have the earth respond to them as designed by the Most High, Mother and Father. Hence the need to wander, because the entire earth, being sentient in nature, is privy to their presence. There is not a place they can go where the earth does not know or bear witness to their sin. Cain bears witness to their fragility. Genesis 4:14. And whosoever shall find me will kill me. Hence their need to get ahead of the curse. So when they wander as ordered, others would not reflect back to them what was done to Abel. John 8:44. You are of your father, the devil. Notice devil is lived in the reverse, and you want to do the desires of your father. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. Whenever he speaks a lie, he speaks it from his own nature, for he is a liar and the father of lies. So you see, this behavior of violence is projected onto the Most High's chosen people because the ones doing the projecting created a system to get ahead of their curse. It's a form of destiny swapping. Cain could not stand in the truth. He could not connect the dots. Out of everything that he could have been concerned about, like falling prey to the desires towards his brother that brought upon his grievance, he cannot correlate the punishment to the action. In other words, he could not see that there was no respect to person. So the last thing he should have been worried about is being killed. But that is what happens when the conscience bears witness to guilt. He knows he doesn't deserve to live because he took his brother's Abel's life. He then takes the Most High's vengeance about murder out of context. Lamech gives witness to that heritage being passed down. stating if his forefather Cain is avenged sevenfold, then he would be avenged 77-fold. Again, he was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. Whenever he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own nature, for he is a liar and the father of lies. This history of stupidity, of nonsense, has its roots. Not even the Most High's reassurance against violence could save Cain from his own nature to lie and desire to have the Creator itself buy into that. These are your raisins in the sun, left out to dry for the purpose of harvest. Let us turn our attention to Matthew 13:24-30. Yeshua presented another parable to them, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while his men were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds amongst the wheat and left. And when the wheat sprouted and produced grain, then the weeds also became evident. And the slaves of the landowner came and said to him, 'Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have weeds?' And he said unto them, 'An enemy has done this.' The slave said to him, 'Do you want us then to go and gather them up?' But he said, 'No, while you are gathering up the weeds, you may uproot the wheat with them. Allow both to grow together until the harvest. And at the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, first, gather up the weeds and bind them into bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn.'"